तरसाओ रसिया, आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। हो मानत हो भावहीन हो, मानत हो भावहीन हो। सुनो घरी घरी रसिया, सुनो घरी घरी रसिया, सुनो घरी घरी रसिया, सुनो घरी घरी रसिया। कत कृपालु पय पियो पूत नहीं, याते अब आ जाओ रसिया। कत कृपालु पय पियो पूत नहीं, याते अब आ जाओ रसिया। याते अब आ जाओ रसिया, याते अब आ जाओ रसिया, याते अब आ जाओ रसिया, याते अब आ जाओ रसिया। अब ना और तरसाओ रसिया, आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। अब ना और तरसाओ रसिया, आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। अब ना और तरसाओ रसिया, आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। अब ना और तरसाओ रसिया, आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया।
लाडली लाल की, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बर्हापीडं नटवरवपु कर्णयो कर्णिकारं बिभ्रद्वासः कनककपिशं वैजयन्तीं च माला रन्ध्रान्वेणु रधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दै वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदाम्बुजयुगलं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद्गीतकीर्ति नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ग्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। महानुभाव भक्त वत्सल devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and every one, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to each and every one of you here this evening. As customary, we begin chanting the divine name of the Lord for a few minutes. Then we will listen to today's topic. भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
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 बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय।
जय
Very low. As we all know, we have been discussing the topic Navdha Bhakti or ninefold devotions. There are many forms of devotion. बहुत प्रकार की भक्ति है, लेकिन सबसे प्रसिद्ध है ये नवधा भक्ति. Most famous is this ninefold devotion. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad ji, says to Prahlad, Prahadanuchatam tat swadhitam kinchiduttamam kale naitavatayushman yadashikshad gurur bhavan. 7th Canto, 5th chapter, 22nd verse. O Prahlad, my son, O long-lived one, you have learned so much from your gurus. Please tell me what you think is the highest knowledge of everything you have learned. Prahlad ji replies and says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 7th Canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse. O my Father, worshipping the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna in the 9 forms, listening, chanting the divine name, meditating on the divine form of the Lord, worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping an image of the Lord, bowing before the Lord, establishing the relation of a servant of servitude, the Lord is my master, I am his servant, establishing the relationship of friendship, the Lord is my friend, and surrendering everything unto the Lord, At Sarva Samarpan. This I consider to be the highest knowledge. Bhagwan Shri Ram also in the Ramayana says to Shabari, Navadha Bhagati Kahu Tohi Pai Savadhan Sunu Man Sunu Dharu Man Mahi. O Shabari, I am about to tell you the 9-fold devotion. Be very alert. Absorb your mind in me and listen carefully. Prathamahi bhagati santan kar sanga dusari rati mama katha prasanga. The first type of devotion, O Shabari, is to have the holy association of the saints. And the second type of devotion is to have love, rati, a love for listening to my divine narrations, my glories, my philosophy, etc. Both of these, I told you, comprise Shravana Bhakti, the first Bhakti spoken by Prahaladji. Shravan, listening. Listening means we don't listen to just anyone and any philosophy or anything. Listening to the philosophy expounded by a true, genuine saint, a genuine guru, Shrotriya Brahmanishth Mahapurush, theoretical man and practical man. Bhagwan Krishna says in Gita, Tadvirpranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Chapter 4, verse 34. If one is so fortunate to meet such a guru, the real guru, tattvadarshinaha, one who has seen the Supreme Absolute, has seen God, attained Godization. What should we do? First, tadvide pranipatena, completely surrender to Him. Number 2, pariprashnena, ask Him questions with a genuine interest to know. And number 3, sevaya, serve Him, do His seva. He will give you the knowledge of God, of Sri Krishna. So, Guru gives knowledge. This is why in the Ramayana, Tulsidas Ji Maharaj, in the very beginning of the Ramayana, in the Bal-Kand, he says, Binu sat sang viveka na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabhan soi. Only when we associate with a true saint will we acquire true knowledge. And that association will only come when the Lord will shower His grace upon us. So, Pratamahi Bhagati Santana Kar Sangha. The first bhakti is to associate with the true saint, God realized soul. Then the second one will come. Du sarirati mama katha prasanga. That rati, that interest, that love. Because as I told you, when someone attains God realization, he becomes a saint. He is no longer a performer of any action. Whatever he does now, Bhagwan, the Lord, is doing. As Tulsidas Ji says, Jo kare so Hari kare. Whatever he is doing, the Supreme Lord is doing. So when a saint is given a lecture to us, he's given discourse, it is Bhagwan himself who is given that discourse. And through his words flow the divine bliss. And so we get a foretaste of divine bliss. Our doubts are removed in no time at all through the words of a genuine saint. So both of these is Shravanam. Then last night we discussed the second bhakti, Kirtana Bhakti. Chanting the divine name of the Lord. Guru Pada Pankaj Seva. Tisari Bhakti Aman. Chauti Bhagati Mama Guna Gana. Karai Kapat Tajigan. So here, there are two other bhaktis being described. Worshipping the lotus feet of the saint, the true Guru, is the third type of devotion. Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying to Shabari. And the fourth devotion is chanting the divine names and qualities, etc. of the Lord, giving up all pride. Kapat, all deceitfulness, all pride, chant in the name of the Lord. It's a little bit different, both of them. All is coming, but in different order. This 9 bhakti that Prahlad is telling to his father, Hiranyakashipu, the same 9 bhakti Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying to Shabari in a different order, in a different way. We resolve in that. So, the second bhakti that Prahlad is saying, Kirtana Bhakti, chanting the divine name of the Lord. Here Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying the fourth type of devotion. Chanting his names and qualities, etc., given up all pride and deceitfulness. And that we discussed in these details last night. Now we come to the third type of devotion. Smarana Bhakti. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam. So Smarana Bhakti. This is the most important bhakti of all the 9 forms, of all bhakti. As I said, there are many, many types of devotion. Bahut prakar ke bhakti hai. 10 type, 24, 36, many, many types. Most famous is the Navadha Bhakti, 9-fold. Out of this 9, 3 are most important. 3 pramukh hai. Shukadev Ji Paramhans says to Raja Parikshit, King Parikshit in Bhagavad, Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan Haris sarvatra sarvada shrotavyah krititavyascha smartavyo bhagavan rinam. Bhagavad Mahapuran, second canto, second chapter, 36th verse. Shukadev ji says to King Parikshit, Hey Parikshit, the Lord exists everywhere in everything. But to know that, we have to do these three types of devotion. These three most important. Shrotavyaha, listening. Shravan bhakti. Kirtitavyascha, chanting, kirtan. Asmartavya, lovingly remembering, meditating. So here, he says the three most important bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Listening, chanting, meditating. Out of these three, the most important is Smaran Bhakti. Gaurang Mahaprabhu says, Maner Smaran Pran. This Smaran Bhakti, lovingly remembering, meditating on the form of the Lord, etc., is the life, pran, the life of all devotion. For example, this body we have, as long as there is life in this body, it is so wonderful. We are so attached to this body. We put on the most beautiful clothes, and we put on all the makeup and all the lipstick and all the rouge. Nobody can touch our body. How dare you touch me? We love this body so much. But the moment the pran leaves the body, the life leaves this body, then it's of no use. Get rid of this body very quickly. Bury it. Burn it. Pangdo, throw it away very quickly. It's going to stink. It's going to rotten. Ghosts will come in the house. Bhoot, pret. Hare, that body, your wife, your husband, your father, your child, you loved so much. You could not do without seeing them and embracing them. And now you want to get rid of it. Oh, this is not them, this is a body. Dead body. Lash. So in the same way, we can do all the bhakti in the world. How many types of bhakti there are? 100 million, 1,000 even. But if there is no smaran bhakti, if there is no roop dhyan, meditation is like a dead body without life. All the saints and all the scriptures have all paid emphasis on this smaran bhakti, the mind. So many saints have written bhajans. Are man. They pay emphasis on the mind. But Kripaluji Maharaj, the great saint Kripaluji Mahaprabhu, has given the most emphasis on Roop Dhyan. Not just Dhyan, Roop plus Dhyan. Roop Dhyan. Roop means form. that we have to meditate, not just chant the name of the Lord, but before we even chant, we have to meditate on the form of Radha Krishna. We have to bring the Lord and put her to stand before us. Then take the name. पहले रूप ध्यान, फिर कीर्तन. In our satsang, in our ashrams in India, everywhere you will see रूप ध्यान कीजिए, रूप ध्यान कीजिए, in big letters. Please do रूप ध्यान. Please meditate on the Lord. You have heard lectures of Kripaluji Maharaj that he has said that even if you don't take the name of the Lord, ek baar Ram na bolo, Krishna mat bolo. Don't even say Ram, Krishna even once. But you have meditated on the form of the Lord with love. You will attain godization. Doesn't mean we should not chant, we should not clap. These are all helpers. Use them, utilize them. Use the eyes to look at the beautiful murti of the Lord. Use the hands to clap and to serve, to offer, to cook a nice bhog and offer. Use the mouth, the tongue to chant the divine names. Use your ears to listen to the divine philosophy and the pastimes of the Lord. These are all helpers. But the main thing is, which we should not forget, is the mind. As I told you on the first night, the mind alone is the performer of the actions. The Vedas say, Man eva manushyanam karnam bandha mokshayoho. Brahma Bindu Upanishad, second mantra. The Vedas say, Man ev. Man means the mind. Ev alone. Manushyanam, human beings. Karnam is the cause. Bandhan, of bondage. Moksha, liberation. The mind alone is the cause of bondage as well as liberation. In other words, the mind alone is the performer of the actions. Not the sense organs, not the eyes, not the ears, not the tongue, not the skin, not the feet, etc. But the mind. This is what Bhagavan notes. Bhagavan does not note our physical actions. He notes where the mind is. Once, I'm sure you've heard this katha many times. 4 Brahmins once went to Mathura, the birthplace of Sri Krishna in India, Mathura. These 4 Brahmins went there and they drank a lot of bhang. In India, marijuana, weed, is also illegal. But in the spiritual places like Varanasi, Mathura, etc., people are allowed to partake of this. So when you take marijuana and you grind it into a paste, and then you mix it into sharbat, milk and syrup and all that, you make a drink, it is called bhang. It's a very intoxicating drink. So people drink these things. So these 4 Brahmin, they got together and drank a lot of bhang. And said they got very intoxicated. In the evening, they came to the bank of the Yamuna. And they saw a boat in the Yamuna. So they discuss among themselves that why not let us take this boat and go to Prayag. There's a place in India, it's called Allahabad today. In ancient times it was called Prayag, Triveni. The confluence of the three sacred rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Sangam. So they thought, let us take this boat and we'll go to Prayag and there we'll have a holy dip and wash our sins. So they said, sure, let's go. Through that effect of the bhang, they had taught themselves to be very strong. We don't need a boatman. We will row ourselves. And so they all sat in the boat, the four of them, and they rowed all night. In the morning, in the dawn, as the dawn started to come and they started to clear, one of them said, I think we have reached Prayag. The second fellow said, yeah, I think we have reached, but something is strange. And the third one said, what is strange? The fourth fellow said, I think so too. He said, look, all the buildings and all the bathing places, the ghat of Prayag, they look just like those in Mathura. Maybe the person who constructed this thing was the same contractor. You know, if you go places in America and there's a contractor and he's built houses, all the houses look alike from one end to the other. So maybe it was the same contractor. So they started talking and there was a guy standing on the bank. He said, hey, are you people crazy? How do you mean we are crazy? This is not Prayag, this is Mathura. Huh? And so a big argument took place. Hey, we have rowed all night long. Our muscles are aching. We have perspired so much. So hard we have worked, and you are saying we are still in Mathura. And if we didn't reach Prayag, we may be somewhere in between, Itara, something. But we could not be in Mathura. And the argument was going on. So another guy came along and he saw this big argument, 4 guys in a boat arguing, and there's a guy in the bank and there's a big argument. So he said, hey, what's happening? So they started all talking at the same time. He said, okay, let me just listen. One person. So one of the Brahmin in the boat said, okay, let me tell you. He said, look, yesterday evening we all sat in this boat and we rowed all night long. We are going to Prayag. And this morning we woke up, when the dawn came, we thought we have reached Prayag. But this guy is telling us we are still in Mathura. So that the other guys, the 6th guy said, okay, I'll tell you. Just relax. Cool it. He said, look, yes, you sat in the boat and you rowed all night long, but your boat is still tied to the bank of the river. It is anchored. These boatmen, they tie their boats in the bank because in the river, if they leave it, it will flow away. So they never bothered to check to see whether the boat, in that intoxicated way, whether the boat was anchored or it was anything, and they just rowed. In the same way, with our mind attached to the world, we worship God physically. We do everything. We chant the name of the Lord. Thousands of names. We do puja. We do havan. We offer jal, water, on the shivling, milk, etc. We visit all places of pilgrimage. We bow to all the saints we meet. So much things we do, but with our mind in the world. Sometimes people say, I am going to do Govardhan, I am going to do Parikrama. This is very famous. People leave from all over the world and they go to Barsana, India. There's a mountain called Govardhan Parvat. And they do Parikrama, going around in a clockwise direction. People lie on the ground, some creep, some walk, bare feet, etc. So it's a big thing to go and do Parikrama because Bhagwan Krishna himself became Govardhan. So this Govardhan is not a mountain, it's Sri Krishna himself. So they get great blessing by doing Parikrama. So you make big plans and you go there to do Parikrama. But while you're doing Parikrama, what happens? Now you're all the way in India, you start worrying, oh my God, I wonder how my children and my wife is doing. I hope nobody stole my Muruka. How is my business going? I hope nobody, I hope I'm not suffering a loss. And so your mind is in the world and you are doing Parikrama, walking around Govardhan, physical drill. And when you come back to America, you ask your friend, hey, have you ever gone and done Parikrama in India, in around Govardhan? No, I never went. I went. So now not only did you did not do anything really when you went there, but now you brought the pride also. Ahankar. More loss. When you were sitting at home and thinking, oh, I want to go and do Parikrama of Govardhan. How much more better, because at that time you were actually thinking about Govardhan. Where the mind is, when we worship God, when we do anything spiritually, where the mind is, devotion is to that object or person. If when you are sitting to do puja, bhog, you're offering bhog to Bhagwan, you're doing arti and your mind is on Bhagwan. Hey Krishna, please come and eat this food of mine with love and devotion, with tears in your eyes. Then you're doing bhakti to Bhagwan. Bhagwan Krishna says in Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. He doesn't ask for anything very expensive. Very simple things. Patram, give me a leaf, any kind of leaf. Mango leaf, neem leaf, no, any leaf. Patram, any leaf. Pushpam, give me a flower. Champa, chameli, rose, no, any kind of, or any flower. Phalam, fruit, anar, apple, no, any fruit you have. Orange, watermelon, any fruit. I don't have any leaf, I don't have any flower, any fruit. Toyam, a few drops of water. But Yome bhaktya prayachati. Give it with love. Bhaktya means love. Prem se. Pyar se. Then Bhagwan will accept. You say to Bhagwan, you just put it in here, take it, and your mind is all over the place. Can we fool Bhagwan? Duryodhan, that wicked fellow, he said, he ordered his cooks to make chappan bhog, 56 type of the best things. He is a king. Hey Krishna, come and eat. Shri Krishna said, no, I don't eat like, I don't need anything. Am I hungry? Bhuke hu? No. When Shri Krishna went to the home of Vidur, Vidur is a devotee. He knocked on the door. Vidur wasn't home. Only Vidurani was there. She was taking a bath. Nahariti. Who is there? Krishna. Ah, Krishna. My beloved. Vidurani ran out from the bathroom. Jaise, thi, vaise. However she was. She did not think, I am disheveled, I hardly have on clothes, I am soaking with water. She didn't bother to take a towel, nothing. She ran and opened the door. Brought Shri Krishna, put him to sit. And now Vidurani is thinking, kya do? What should I give my Lord, my beloved? So she had some kela, ripe bananas. She took the banana and she's peeling the banana. And in her love, she throws away the fruit. Or chilka, the banana peel, she gives to Shri Krishna. And Shri Krishna starts to eat it. He has to. Itne mein Vidur aa gaye. At the same time Vidur came home, he saw his wife half naked, dripping with water, and the Lord is eating a banana peel. Oh my God, this lady has gone mad. He snatches away the banana peel and throws it away. And tells his wife, go, dry yourself, put on some clothes. He says to Krishna, Baithiye, please sit, my Lord. I will make something for you. He goes and he makes a sag and chapati. And so he brings and he gives to Bhagwan. And Bhagwan eats. Vidur is a devotee. He will also eat. So he's eaten the sag and the chapati and he says, Vidur, this is very nice. Bahut acha hai. He says, but Vidur, don't mind. I have to tell you something, don't mind. This sag and you've given me is eaten is very nice, but the sweetness, that chilka, the banana peel you threw away, the sweetness I was getting in that banana peel, I cannot get it in this sag and the roti. Have you people eaten banana peel? Chilka khaya kabhi? Nobody eats a banana peel. And here Shri Krishna is saying that banana peel is sweeter. Why? Because of the love with which Vidurani was given it. Bhagwan bhavana khate hai. He eats our love, not the object. भगवान की कुछ कमी नहीं है. He doesn't have anything less. वो दाता है. He is a data, the giver and benefactor of all, and we all bhikari. We all beggars. What can we give to him? वो कुछ नहीं चाहते. He doesn't want anything. He only wants love. प्रेम की भिखारी है. He wants our love. This is the most important thing. That's why we don't benefit. So again, Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying to Shabari, Mantra jap मम दृढ़ विश्वासा पंचम bhajan soved prakasa. He says, Shabari, the fifth type of devotion is to have firm faith in me while chanting my mantras and names, etc., doing jap. We do jap. People do jap, they do mantra. But is there faith? If there is no faith, then it's not a bhajan. What does this faith mean? The Dridha Vishwasa. I told you last night, Gaurang Mahaprabhu said, Naam Naam Kadi Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis. That God has taken all His power and put in the name. वो नाम में बैठे हैं. God is sitting in the name. Do we have that faith? This is what Dridha Vishwasa means. Having faith that God and the name is one. You can say the most powerful mantra, Gayatri mantra. But there is no faith, is nothing. And you can say Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, and you don't even know how to pronounce properly. If you say Gayatri mantra, this is a Ved mantra, and you do not pronounce properly, you can get harm. You don't just say Gayatri mantra like that. There are rules and regulations in the Vedas. Certain hand movements you have to make. There's something called swar, intonation of the voice. But when it comes to bhakti, galat salat, anyhow. Are Valmiki ji couldn't say Ram. You all are familiar with the Katha of Valmiki. The Guru told him, chant Ram. Valmiki was such a sinner, his heart was so dirty, he could not say Ram. Rama. You find anybody in the world who can speak, who is not dumb, and tell him to say Ram and he cannot say it. You will not find such a person. Yet Valmiki's heart was so dirty, he could not say Ram. So the Guru Naradji said, okay, you kill people, you're a murderer, say Mara, to kill. And Valmiki ji sat down and said Mara. And he attained God. This is bhakti. There are no rules and regulations in bhakti. Pronunciation, what doesn't matter? What matters is what's in the heart. How much love you have. This is why Bhagwan is saying, Dridha Vishwasa. This is the mistake we make in so many sampradayas. Today this thing sampradaya and parampara, lineage. People ask the question, which lineage your guru is from? So somebody is a gadha, the greatest fool, and he says, my lineage is like this. I am a saint because I belong to this lineage. No. That doesn't make you guru, saint. Nowhere in the scriptures. Bhagwan Krishna makes it very clear in the Gita, as I told you, chapter 4, verse 34. Tattva Darshina, one who has seen Krishna. The Bhagavad Mahapuran says, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Parichanishnatam Brahman Upashamashayam. 11 Canto, 3rd chapter, 21st verse. Prabhupada Maharaj, one of the 9 Yogishwar, is saying, we have to have a guru, but that guru must have 2 things that qualifies him to be guru. There is no mention of sampradaya or parampara here. He says 2 things qualifies him. What is that? Shabde pare. He has knowledge of all the scriptures. Or Nishnatham. He has practical experience of God. He has attained the divine love, divine vision, divine bliss of Sri Krishna. That is the only thing that qualifies him to be guru. So this is a mistake. So many sampradayas, they just tell their followers to do so many malas. You have to do 16 mala every day of some mantra. And so the poor fellow is doing jap and he's fallen asleep and he's just thinking, I have to do 16 rounds. I have seen people shopping in the shop and they have a bag and they're doing, hey, how much for this? And hey, and what do you know this? And they're talking to people and they're going with their jap. Because all they care about, they have to do this 16 rounds. We can buy God like that. Nothing comes. The most important thing they have forgotten to tell their disciples, that we have to shed tears for God. Gaurang Mahaprabhu said the most important thing is to shed the tears. Once in the satsang of Gaurang Mahaprabhu, a devotee had a little piece of cloth, and in that side of that piece of cloth he had some lal mirch, red pepper powder. Every now and again he will take a little bit and put in his eyes. And some people saw this guy putting this red pepper in his eyes and tears are flowing. So they went to Gaurang Mahaprabhu. Maharaji, there is a Dambhi, this deceitful fellow, and he is putting pepper in his eyes. So Gaurang Mahaprabhu called the devotee, hey, come here. Why you putting lal mirch? Why you putting red pepper powder in your eyes? So the disciple said, hey Maharaji, you have told in the satsang it is compulsory to shed tears. Subhana. And I have tried in every way to shed the tears. Maharaji, I have tried everything. And my heart is so dirty and is so hard that I cannot shed the tears. So I decided this is the agya, the order of my guru, that I have to shed the tears, so I put the pepper. Gaurang Mahaprabhu embraced that devotee. Inke alingan kiya. And the people who reported him, he scolded them. This is why you come satsang, to see who is putting pepper in the eye and who is crying and who is clapping. Why don't you shed tears? Ye tu jaan liya hai tattva. He has realized the most important thing. He has realized that it is so important to shed tears. You people have not even realized that. Yes, he's not doing it the right way, but he knows this is the most important thing. In bhakti, without those tears, no bhakti. Tulsidas Ji Maharaj, he seemed to have become very angry with people who worship God only mechanically, without any feeling. So he said, He paatahu footahu nayan, aur jarahu sutan kehi kaam, dravahi shravahi pulkahi nahi, tulasi sumirat ram. He says, hey, when you are worshipping God, meditating on Bhagwan, doing devotion, something is supposed to happen. The heart that doesn't melt with joy while chanting the name of the Lord, that heart should be bursted, here part too, ripped apart. The eyes that does not shed tears, doesn't flow from the eyes while chanting the name of the Lord, etc. Phutahu nayan, those eyes should be bursted. And the body that doesn't thrill with joy and the paws raised on ends, pulakai, that body should be burnt to ashes. No, we shouldn't go and burn our body and burst our eyes and rip our heart apart. He's just telling us that if we do bhakti in the right way, this is the bhakti. If this is not happening, it means you're not doing the right thing. Tears have to flow. The body has to thrill, the heart with joy, the paws should raise on ends, and the heart should thrill with joy, should melt. And this will happen when we start realizing that God is sitting in the name. Look, most of you love to eat mango, We love to eat mango, right? Especially mangoes like Dashera, sweet mango. But you see a mango and you keep in front of you and you look at it, it is so nice. And you keep looking at it, it's so nice, you don't know how it tastes. It's only when you take that mango and you put it in your mouth and you suck it and you taste the nectar. It is so sweet. In the same way, only when we realize that the Lord is sitting in the name, then we'll taste that bliss. Or else you can chant all the Hare Ram in the world. Nothing will happen. It's just like a parrot. All the Radhe Radhe, all the Hare Ram. The realization has to come. The Bhagavad Mahapuran also says, Tadashmasaram hridayam batedam yadgrihyamane harinam dheyai na vikriyetat yada vikaro netre jalam gataruheshu harsha. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 2nd Canto, 3rd chapter, 24th verse. The Bhagavad is saying that heart is made of stone, thunderbolt. It's so hard, this heart, that someone is chanting the name of the Lord. And the heart doesn't thrill with joy. The paws on the body doesn't raise on ends. And tears doesn't flow from the eyes. These tears are the most important thing in bhakti. And that will only happen when we do dhyan, meditation. Roop dhyan. Not meditating on the formless aspect of Sri Krishna. People do all kind of meditation. Some meditate on light. Some people say, just sit down and think about nothing. Acha? Can you just sit down and think about nothing? This mind, it is so wayward. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit. Chapter 3 verse 5 Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, it is impossible to be inactive even for a moment. The mind is always thinking. How can you sit down and think about nothing? Either you think about God or you think about the world, but you cannot leave it pending. Impossible. These people who say think about nothing, they crack. As my guru used to say, charo screw dhila, charo. All the 4 screws are loose. There are other people who say, just look at your thoughts. In meditation, sit down and look at your thoughts. Okay, I'm looking at my thoughts. My thought goes in the nastiest place and thinks about the dirtiest thing. That is meditation. Jai Ho. All kind of foolishness. And we people don't know anything. We just follow them. Especially in the Western world. This is not meditation. So Kripaluji Maharaj has made it very clear. He didn't say only dhyan. He said Roop Dhyan. Meditating on the form of the Supreme Lord, on the form of the Guru. Lovingly. On the virtues, on the qualities, etc. This is called Smaran Roop Dhyan. Then something will happen. Along with that, we have to develop feelings of humility, tolerance, etc. Gaurang Mahaprabhu said, the only reason we cannot shed tears for God and the saint, one reason, ahankar, pride, abhiman. We think so highly about ourselves. For no reason we have all this thing. Nobody can say anything to us or about us. We want to kill and we want to fight and quarrel. And then we call ourselves bhaktas, satsangi. Gaurang Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. Shikshastak. This is the very first verse in the Shikshastak of Gaurang Mahaprabhu. The very first verse. This is the foundation on which you have to build bhakti. Adhar Shila. Foundation. First thing, Trinadapi Suni Chena. Trin se barkar, deen banna. Trin means grass, ghas. One has to become humbler than a blade of grass. We walk on the grass. What does the grass do when you walk on the grass? It bends. Jhuk jate, jhukte. And then when you pass the poor thing, it tries again. It never complained. How do we attain that feeling? By realizing that I am the lowest of the low, the most sinful. Uncountable lifetimes of wickedness, sin and impurities is stored in this heart, in this mind. We are so attached to the material world and material objects and people that every moment we cannot think about our beloved Lord. We don't have a natural interest to chant in the divine name, etc. Realizing that I am such a sinner. इसमें बुरी बात नहीं है. This is not a bad thing to think like that. Why? Because Sri Krishna says, I love sinners. पतितों को मुझे बहुत प्यारे है. He loves sinners. Patita pavan He loves sinners. But we have to first realize I am a sinner. This feeling we have to realize deep inside. Now somebody may say, well, Bhaiya, Swamiji, I can't feel like that. I don't do wrong things. I've never cursed anyone. I've never beaten anybody. I have not stolen anything from anybody. I didn't kill anybody. And I see people doing so much wrong things, drinking alcohol and cursing and beating. But I have never done all those things, and how can I feel? We have not done those things physically. What about mentally? I told you, God does not note what we do physically. He notes where the mind is. How much wrong thoughts we have in our mind. We hate this person so much that we wish they would go and die somewhere. That some truck will hit them and squash them like a sardine. And that person come before you. Hello, Radhe, Radhe. Oh, long time I did not see you. Come have a seat. So sweet words. If God were to note externally, you will attain godization. Such sweet words. But He's not noting those words. He's noting the feeling in the heart. Plus, if we have done one wrong thing in one lifetime, an uncountable lifetime, the soul, as I told you last night, we are beginningless, eternal. An uncountable wrong things are stored in the heart as sanchit pap. Then how can we not have the feeling that I am the most sinful, the most fallen? Plus, we don't even understand the definition of pap and punya. Pap, sin. Punya, dharma, good action. What is the pap and punya definition? We think we know. But do we really know? Bhagavan Krishna says in the scriptures, Man nimittam kritam papam mad dharma cha kalpate mamanahritya dharmopi papam syanmat prabhavatah. God says, Mama nimit. Mama nimit, man nimittam kritam papam. If you do a sin, a pap, but you do it for God, that is called dharma, punya. God is saying. And you can do the greatest dharma. Mamanahritya dharmopi. But it's not for me, not for God. That is called a sin, a pap. This is God's definition of right and wrong. Now let us think, in 24 hours of a day, how much time we spend thinking favorably about the Supreme Lord, lovingly. Very little. If we think carefully about this definition, we realize that we are all gross sinners. Mahapapi. Then the tears will come. This dinata, the more humility comes, the more loving you will be to God. People say, I am scared to be too humble. Some satsangis have complained to me in the past. They say, oh, Bhaiya, you only telling us dinata, human. I'm scared to be too humble. So you're scared to be loving to God. Because the more humble you become, the more He will love you. और प्यारे से होते हैं भगवान के लिए. Humility, deenata, The second condition, tarorapi sahishnuna. Tar. Tar means a tree. One has to be more tolerant than a fruit-bearing tree. A tree is bearing fruits. Someone takes stones and sticks and throws at the tree, break the branch. Somebody takes the fruit lovingly. The tree says, Bhaiya, I am here to give fruits. Whether you take it lovingly or you break the branch, you try to kill me, I give fruit. The tree doesn't eat the fruit for itself. We have to become more tolerant than the tree. The tree does not discriminate. Somebody is taking care of the tree, putting fertilizer, water in the tree, and someone is trying to kill the tree. But when the tree bears fruits, mangoes, nice rosy mango, the tree doesn't say, hey, you try to kill me, no mango for you. Or I'm going to give a poison mango to you. And you took nice care of me. Look, I'm going to give you the sweetest mango. No tree does that. The tree gives fruits to all alike. Whether you took care or you tried to kill the tree. In other words, we have to get angry, but you don't get angry. This is very difficult. These are the condition if you want to become a bhakta, devotee. This is what you have to do. You have to get angry and yet you don't get angry. Anger destroys everything. Krodha bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti banshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Gita, chapter 2, verse 63. Bhagavan Krishna says, from anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. When a person loses their memory, they lose the power to discriminate and everything is destroyed. When you get angry, you destroy your own self. All your bhakti, all your devotion, all your hard work goes down the drain. We have to protect our devotee like a miser. You have to be very careful not to get angry. One of the most dangerous things, getting angry. And we get angry all the time. Angry at the kids, angry at the parents, angry at the neighbors, angry at my boss, angry everywhere. I am an angry man. No. It's not good. How do we attain that state? That we don't get angry? By realizing deep down inside our heart that I am no better than anyone. In fact, I may be worst. Then it becomes easy to forgive and forget. If I realize deep in my heart I am the most sinful, that I am worse than anyone, why we get angry? How dare you tell me something? How dare you do this? But somebody calls you a fool. Yes, I am a fool. No, how dare you call me a fool? So, are you smart? Are you wise? Yes. So then you're a saint. No, I'm not a saint. Then, either you're wise or you're foolish. If you're not a saint, then you're foolish. Why feel bad for the truth? If you see a policeman walking on the road and you say, "Good morning, policeman," the policeman says, "Good morning." He does not object and say, "Don't call me policeman, call me fireman." You see this lady and you say, "Radhe Radhe, Auntie ji, Radhe Radhe," and she says, "Radhe Radhe." She doesn't object and say, "Call me Uncle ji." So, when someone says the truth, why get angry? They're helping us. They're helping us. So we have to learn to tolerate, to bear. Sahanshilta. Sahan ki shakti बढ़ाना. If you want bhakti, then you have to tolerate. The more you can tolerate, the more bhakti will come. Because then you won't get angry. Amanina manadena. Very briefly I'm going today. Some other time more detail. Man means respect. Amanina, the absence of a desire for name and fame, for respect. One can have the greatest of qualities, and yet he thinks, "I am the worst of the worst." In order to protect myself from pride. Because the moment pride comes, God and Guru are going to pack their bags and walk out. So even if we have the greatest of good qualities in us, we should still think, "I am the worst of the worst." The desire, the absence of the desire. A devotee hates praise. In the world, we love flattery. We love when people tell us nice things. "Oh, you're such a lovely lady. Oh, you're such a good devotee. Oh, you're such a nice..." Oh, yeah. "Oh, Bhaiya, you just think about me. You love me." And I tell you, or somebody tell you, "Hey, you are such a foolish person. And you don't do this and you..." And and tears start flowing right away. I've seen people, little thing, and then the tears, like a pipe, open a pipe. If we could shed tears like that for Bhagwan, we'll attain God realization. What gets hurt? Our pride. How dare you tell me? People say, "Bhaiya, from a child, nobody never told me anything harsh. I am such a soft child." Really? So in other words, I'd like drinking poison, give me some more poison. For a devotee, praise is the biggest poison. Wish. He loves abuse. A devotee loves to get abuse. Insults. We don't like that. The Bible says, "Blessed art thou when man shall revile you." How many people understand this? Tulsidas said, "I will build a hut in the front yard of my house for the person who insults and reviles me. He is my true friend." Why? Because I cannot see my faults. He is helping me. And the one who is praising me is my worst enemy. We have to understand that. And manadenaha, to give respect to all. Realizing that Lord you love, Radha Krishna, is sitting in the heart of everyone. You give respect to all. Put your hands together and say, "Radhe Radhe." Give love and respect to all. Do not find faults. There's much more. But the time is finished. We still have many days to go. And if necessary, I'll go into a little more details as we go along. I'll finish here tonight. Larali Lal ki, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki, Siyavar Ramchandra ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Radhe Radhe will be continuing this series of 9 of lectures of Navdha Bhakti tomorrow same time 7 to 8:30 p.m. And also would like to remind you about the retreat. There is a Memorial Day retreat will be offered by Swamiji. This will be starting on Saturday in the morning and it will finish on Monday by 1 o'clock. Get more information from the front desk. You don't need to register, you can come anytime, you can attend any session. There will be a schedule posted soon and you can, as I said, you can join. There is no registration fee or there is no fee for attending that also. Please come, please stand for the Aarti now.
Hey, do the Aarti. Throat is not good. You, Madhuri. Who else is here? Only you.